As we've shared with you, Wednesday night will be the 40th anniversary celebration of the 1977 NBA championship team for the Portland Trail Blazers. A member of that team that we are now honored to have join us, Mr. Bill Walton. Bill, I want to ask you one question about this championship team. Here we go.
Celebration begin. Happy 40th. I never miss an opportunity to be on the radio with Michael Jordan. How fantastic it is. I'm on my way. I'd rather be riding my bike up there, but no, it would take me 2.5 weeks to get there from San Diego, and I just don't have that kind of time right now. And that's weather permitting, and the wind factor as well. So, Michael, Jordan, great to be with you guys tonight. Go Blazers, let's go. One of the great teams in the history of all sports. It all came together. Fantastic basketball, fantastic community, fantastic people, fantastic place. It was a dream come true for me. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. How you doing tonight, Michael Jordan?
Oh, we're doing wonderful. And Bill, I'm curious. When you look back at
that was Bill Schonley. How come he's not doing this interview? I thought he did all the interviews.
You know, Bill I think is eating a steak right now. He told us to send you our best, so he'll get a chance to chat with you after the game on Wednesday night, and we're looking forward to that.
That's going to be fantastic. How come they don't have a statue for Bill Schonley right out in front of the Motor Center? That's what I want.
That's a very good question, Michael.
I think when you come to town, Bill, we can have that conversation.
Hey, I bet you if you bring that up.
I know an angel of mercy, the angel of mercy, Allison, who made my statue. She's from Troutdale, and so she's got this fantastic studio out there. She made me a book and of the process. Now, this whole statue for me was a complete surprise. I had no idea it was being done. The day before, they said, Bill, just be aware something's going to happen when you go down to ride your bike down at the beach that day, that Saturday morning in May when we started the Amgen tour of California. I love my bike. I love Portland. I love that team. And to be able to be with all the guys is just going to be absolutely spectacular. Sad that we're missing three critical components. Jack Ramsay, Maurice Lucas, and Herm Gillian have all passed away. But, man, we're looking forward to seeing the guys who are still here and still going. 40 years ago seems like yesterday. What do you guys want to talk about tonight?
Well, I'm curious. I want to know how you feel that championship has impacted you the most and the special relationship that championship had with the city of Portland when you look at how close-knit this team is intertwined with its people of its community.
It was a dream come true, and everything I wanted in life was right there. It was just fantastic. Oh my gosh. And it has changed my life. I've had a blessed life, and a lot of my dreams have come true, but my life has been marked by meteoric climbs to the top. We were the youngest team in the history of the NBA to ever win the championship, to this day. And the oldest guy on the team was Maurice, who played significant minutes. And then, you know, I was the MVP of the league, which was a dream of mine from when I was in the 6th or 7th grade. And I told my dad when I was in the 7th grade that I was going to be the MVP of the NBA, and I was going to win that free car, and I was going to give it to him, because we grew up with nothing. I mean, I'm not like you, Michael Jordan, where I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. No, we didn't have anything, but in the real world, we had everything, because we had a family, we had a home, we had our health, and we had our hope and dream that tomorrow was going to be better. And my dream was to be the best player in the NBA, on the best team in the NBA, and that dream came true. And when I got to present that MVP car to my dad, oh my gosh, he and my mom, they came up to Oregon from San Diego, and they rented a house in Depot Bay right on the rocks. And it was just a spectacular time for them, and they drove that MVP car for decades. And that MVP truck that we got for winning that championship, that is still in use here in Southern California. And it's very special when you're part of something so unique, so fantastic, and the crowds and the people and the joy and the happiness and the players and the dream and the coach and the front office and how it all can. Bill Schonley. I mean, Bill Schonley, he's the most important man in the history of the franchise. And, Maurice is the greatest Blazer of them all. And a lot of great teams, a lot of great players, but without Bill Schonley, it never would have worked, because Bill Schonley, he had that ability, and every region, every town has that guy. And for me, growing up in San Diego in Southern California, that guy was Chick Hearn. And for everybody in Portland, that was Bill Schonley, who made people believe that what was happening was bigger than it really was, but bigger than individual lives. And he pulled everybody together, and his selflessness, his tireless efforts, he gave his life so that our dreams could come true. And he went everywhere and did everything, and it was just fantastic. And to come on this show with Michael Jordan and to hear the voice of God, Bill Schonely, come right on in there. And one of the most remarkable things that happens in my life, a lot of things have gone down. I'm 64 years old now, but when I come out there in the public and people come up to me and say all kinds of different things. Bill, I'm a deadhead. Bill, I went to UCLA. Bill, I was a Boston Celtic fan growing up as a child. But it's impossible to calibrate. It's impossible to relate to you unless you're standing right there next to me when this happens. When somebody will come up to me, and it happens the very first moment I get off the plane in Portland all the time, but it happens so much. Bear in mind, how many people in the state of Oregon right now? 4 or 5 million people?
Yeah, about 3 or 4.
3 or 4. Okay, state of Oregon. When I was there's 350,000 people in the whole state. And so people will come up to me, and they'll look right at me with the glazed eyes. And all they'll say is this. They'll say, I was there. I was there. And if you were there, now I know you guys, Michael Jordan, you're too young to have been there. But if anybody who was there, in the restaurants, on the streets, in the shopping centers, out with the sponsors, in the airport, at the Memorial Coliseum, it was just a spectacular time of joy, happiness, and Jack Ramsay, his ability to put the team together. And the management's willing to listen to Jack the way they did not listen to Lenny. And, Lenny wanted to do the same things that Jack did, but they just said no to Lenny. And that's another story, though, because Jack was this brilliant guy. I've got this big picture of him in my gym, in my home gym weight room where I just got out of, so I'm all fired up. And I got a big wall for Maurice Lucas, but I got this picture of, and I got a big picture of Lionel and Lenny and the championship team, and they're all right there. I'll put some photos together and put them out there on my Twitter account. But this picture of Jack, and he's just so fiercely intent on success, on moving forward, on excellence, development, growth, commitment, sacrifice, all the things that you love and that you dream about. Because that was my life. My life was a fantastic childhood, greatest childhood really ever. But then, I had these great parents, no interest in sports, a phenomenal first coach, Rocky, when I started when I was 8 years old, and then I had Chick Hearn starting when I was 9 or 10 for the rest of his life, and that was 50 years, and then or 45 years maybe, and then John Wooden. And then I come up there to Portland, and I get Jack Ramsay, and oh my God, it was just incredible. And the experiences that we had with Jack, because we were so young, and when you have such success at such a young age, and you don't really know, you don't really appreciate, you don't really understand, acknowledge, how hard it is, because you just think that's the way life goes. You're just going, you're going to win all the championships, and you're going to go on and on and on, and it never ends. And Jack was so perfect for us because he had that vision, and he had the commanding presence, and he had the whistle. I've never, Phil Jackson has a good natural whistle. Jack Ramsay had the best natural whistle ever, where he could just curl up his lips and he could pierce through any sound. And the roar, he had a big basketball game, the roar at the Memorial Coliseum, the roar at Chicago Stadium, the roar at the Philadelphia Spectrum, the roar at Madison Square Garden, the roar at the Forum down there. That's what you live for. But then when you're brought back with the quick snap to reality, when that whistle just comes right in and you immediately realize that the coach, the leader, the guy in charge, the guy responsible, he wants you to change direction. And that was Jack Ramsay. Of all the coaches I ever played for, I never played for one who was more in tune with what the players were thinking. And I played for 6 coaches who were in the Hall of Fame, and a lot more who would be if these legs of mine, these wretched legs, would have held up.
6.
But to have John Wooden, Lenny Wilkins, Jack Ramsay, Casey Jones, Red Auerbach, and Denny Crum as my coaches, team builders, visionary guys, humble people who realize their job is to be a teacher and to be the human forklift and pick people and things up and put them in a better place. And that's what Jack Ramsay, that's what Maurice Lucas, and that's what Portland, and that's what Oregon, and that's what the Blazers did for me, and I am forever grateful. I'm the luckiest guy in
Bill,
the world.
let me work a question in here. First of all, I like how you say Michael and Jordan. You put our names together. Nobody's ever done that. It makes us feel more than we really are. But the question is this,
I learned
Bill.
that from Bill Schonely. Now, when the Blazers when the Blazers asked me to come on this show, they said I was coming on with Michael Jordan. I said, well, fantastic. What's Michael doing up in Portland? I thought he lived down there in Charlotte.
Okay. No, but Bill, let me get this in because, playing for 6 Hall of Fame coaches is an incredible thing, but in talking to you, I can't help but think of your UCLA pedigree, the championships there. So you've been a part of championships, so you understand the work that goes in, you understand the reward. But in preparation for Wednesday and getting back together with your championship team here in Portland, talk about the bond that exists with teams that win championships together.
Michael Jordan, there's nothing like being in that locker room and looking across the way and seeing Lionel and Johnny, Dave and Larry, and looking a couple of seats over, seeing Bobby and Corky and Herm, and then right next to me was Maurice Lucas. Oh my gosh, the greatest trailblazer of them all. So fierce, so tough, and the battles that he would rage. I mean, they have written songs, Bob Dylan, Neil Young, John Fogerty, Jerry Garcia, about the spirit of Maurice Lucas. But there's nothing like the locker room, the bus, the huddle. That's what you live for. Now, none of us can play anymore at all. 3 have passed. Robbins had just horrific health challenges. I should be dead. I've had 37 orthopedic operations, but when you're with those guys and you see them, and we all get together every year when we come back to Portland for the Maurice Lucas Foundation event that's always held in early October, and how fun it is. But that's always away from the arena. Now, this week we're coming in, and we're all going to be there at the new temple, the new palace, the new Mecca, the new shrine, this absolutely spectacular arena that is built right there on the banks of the Willamette River. Now, you folks live in Oregon, right? We in San Diego, our rivers are filled with sand. And so to be able to, I've been coming up to Oregon a ton recently because of business and Pac-12 Conference of Champions and ESPN and all this stuff. And just the volume of water. I mean, we have the ocean down here, but we don't have the rivers, and we don't have the mountains, and we don't have the trees and the waterfalls and the eagles and the wildlife and the bears and the elk and all this different incredible stuff. And it's just staggering. And as I have changed and hopefully evolved for the better over the years, I mean, to be able to think back how great and how special that team was. And Jack Ramsay said it best. Now, we've had other reunions along the way. I mean, I think there was a 10-year, a 15, a 20. The 20th year reunion, that was when Maurice sank the half-court shot in his suit and tie and his hard shoes, banked it in to win a car for somebody during the halftime ceremony. And I don't think anybody on our team now can get the ball to the basket from half court. And then at the 30th anniversary, when the NBA honored the team at the All-Star weekend, Jack Ramsay spoke. And they asked him that day to put the team into historical perspective. And Jack was, he was a teacher. His PhD was in education. So, he was one of those guys like a John Wooden who spent just hours, countless hours figuring things out, writing things down, and just perfect use of the English language. And so Jack said it succinctly, concisely, and absolutely perfectly when he said, in response to how does this team fit into the history of basketball? And these were Jack's words. I like our team, and we'll take our chances anywhere, anytime, against anybody.
Oh, that's great stuff right there, Bill. Well, thank you so much. We can't wait to see you
We
on
had
Wednesday.
Maurice Lucas, we had Jack Ramsay, and we had the Blazer Maniacs, and nobody else ever did. And the fans in Portland that made me the best player I ever was, the fans in Portland who treated me better than I deserved, the fans in Portland who gave me everything, and then Maurice Lucas, the greatest teammate that I ever had, and then Dr. Jack, who was the coach that made me the best player that I ever was. And I just wish that I could have given more back in return.
Well, you get a chance to give even more back when you come here on Wednesday. Bill, thank you so much. Enjoy
Michael
the rest
Jordan,
of the day in San
here we
Diego.
go. Hey, how about
appreciate
that
it.
Bill Schonely statue? Call up Alex.
Hey,
and
we'll get it done for you.
We'll see you on
The one,
Wednesday,
the only,
Bill.
the great Bill Walton.